Hello, star lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about
Happy full moon, and I am calling this the money moon. I'm calling this the money moon because we have the sun in Taurus and we have the moon in Scorpio, and they're both at 22 degrees. And we have this full moon every year. It's not at 22 degrees and it's not on this exact date and it doesn't have this exact energy. And it's because of those things that I'm opening up a different lens for both of these signatures with the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio. Typically what I would do is I would say that it's about the experience of you, the experience of life, and how Taurus likes to be at the surface and Scorpio likes to be at the depths. And I would plunge into that. All that is still true. But when I look at these energies today, it just bubbled up that it was the money moon. And it can be that too, because Taurus is about money. Think of the bull. Think of Wall Street. There's a bull at Wall Street. When the market is really good, it's called a bull market. When people are doing business, I mean, this is a long time ago, but when people were doing business, they would say, oh, it's bullish when it was going really well. There's Taurus. There's Taurus with that stature, that position, that absolute certainty of things working out, of things going the way that they want them to work out. They're very intentional. And with Taurus, it's ruled by Venus. And so Venus does have a financial aspect to her. Yes, she's the goddess of love, but I've always said that love and money are the same energy. You materialize those in your life in the same manner. They're from the sacral chakra. They're from that deep desire. And Taurians are very desirous. They're desirous of creature comforts and luxury and being the exploration of the senses. And so that's Taurus. And the sun happens to be there at 22 degrees. We'll put a pin in that for a minute. Then you have Scorpio. The moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. Scorpio is very deep. Scorpio is also very desirous, sometimes to the point of possessiveness. Now, from a negative aspect, Scorpions can be known for being possessive or even materialistic. They can get jealous of others when others have what they desire. It's just really because they're so passionate. And because they're so passionate, sometimes they can be overcome by their own emotions. That's how deep they are. Scorpios are incredibly powerful. Scorpios are transformative. Scorpios are very success-oriented. Scorpios are very much attached to money and wealth. Sometimes a Scorpio can be at that level from a philanthropic perspective because they've overgrown or outgrown their desires so much that they allow that to spill onto others. But at first, Scorpio serves him or herself. It's really wonderful in that because, I tell collaborative explorers all the time, don't forget to put yourself first. Oh, for crying out loud, I tell most of my clients that. Don't forget to put yourself first. Oh, and by the way, I have to tell myself that. And then Scorpios have it. My moon is in Scorpio and still I have to tell myself that, right? So this is a really good thing, especially when we're heading into. And that's why I've called this the money moon. It is for the position, but it's also where the placement is in the year. And the placement, I keep seeing the second quarter here, that's April, May, and June. I keep seeing it as the elbow of the year. And here we are in the middle of the elbow of the year, right? So I'm just going to do rough math, right? So if you take from April 1st to June 30th, halfway through would be about the second week of May. And oh, by the way, it's May 12th, and the full moon is at 12:58 p.m. Eastern time. You can't really get any more in the middle than that. So when I went into it and I looked at Scorpio's wealth desires and riches and power wants and passions, and then there's the Taurian financial acceptance of their stature and position. Taurians love the trappings of things. They love nice clothing and nice pieces of art, and they glory in the beauty of the world. And Scorpios love to possess. Again, these are not negative aspects. When you think about what's going on in the planets and how the planets are going to step up the pace to be so fast, we're not going to be able to keep up. Building your reserves is where I'm going with this money moon. And I'm not talking about saving your dollars. I'm talking about saving your energies. I'm talking about building up your resources. But beyond that, when I look at the 22, 2 plus 2, that's like you and me, right? And then it goes to a 4 because 2 plus 2 equals 4. In numerology, we look at the 4. And the 4 is about stability. It's about security. It's about that terra firma. Some people could say it's practicality and reliability. I don't. I don't say that because the 2 can also be a cage. The 2 can, I spend too much money or I spend too much for my money. Sometimes money's too expensive. If you've been hanging around with me, you've heard me say that before. And that is also true. So when I say this is the money moon, I want to expand that conversation to be abundance and to be possession of your faculties, possession of your own power, possession of what that is most important to you, your priorities, your loved ones, that which you hold dear. Not because something's going to happen, but because that foundation, when you make it stronger and when you make it more secure, you get to grow more. You get to rise and expand and reach out more because you have that ability to sink your feet or sink your teeth into something and really have it help you hold you. That's what matters for the back half of the year. The back half of the year is going to be a test. I want to say endurance, but it's not really that. It will be for some people who haven't chosen themselves, for some people who can't see beyond their own, I'm even going to say failings or their own immediate thoughts, or even not even to the point where they have thoughts. They're just following rote action. For those who like to be victimized or like to abdicate responsibility, the back half of the year and all of 2026 is going to be a exercise in endurance and nothing more. But for those, and I'm going to say us, for those of us who have taken the hard steps and shed things and transformed and pursued and reinvented and adjusted and attuned and aligned and all the crap we've been doing for the last decade or more, this back half of the year is not an exercise in endurance, but it is an exercise in being able to have the pace not be subsuming, because the pace is going to be so fast. And I've talked in 2 different episodes now about, and I can't remember where they come out, so we may not have published them yet, but it's coming. And I've done those because when you look at, AI, you can type anything in an AI. And you can have something be created that is beyond your imagining, and it can happen at the snap of a finger or like 3 keystrokes. And then think about doing that again and again and again and again and again. Can you keep up with it? That is just a little teeny tiny specific example about what the energies are going to look like. And it's the stars are saying, let's go. We've been held for the last 5 years. You've had time to figure out how the heck to walk in this new energy and to figure out how to deal with things that are just unfathomable. You've had the ability to start, seeking the edges of things and coming to appreciate that you're not going to know what the third step is. You've had the ability to have the kind of knocking around that we did through 2022 to kind of shake ourselves up again, to be like, okay, there's the alignment. Okay, whoops, I was going in the wrong direction. Tweak, tweak, tweak. Here I go again. And then we had 23 and 24 that was all about shedding that which we do not want to carry into the future. We've done most of it. I mean, it's never ending, right? So we've done most of it. Whew. So we're ready. And here this full moon is saying, let's look to see like the golden nugget of who you are, that shining diamond of brilliance. And let's help build your reserves. But let's not just build reserves for the sake of building reserves, because now that just becomes stuff and you become a little mini hoarder, right? Let's build what is really attuned to you. So I'm just going to talk about the stars for 1 or 2 more seconds because they want to be in here. They're like, hey, can we have a little moment? Sure. And then I'm going to go diving deeply into the signatures. And I've gone into the currency of each signature. And then I've gone into all the positive aspects and opening up a little bit more. And then I've gone into what the failing could be. And this is about building your reserves. And it's about creating abundance. And it's about increasing your profits and your prosperity. So it's still the money move. So the other planets that want to come into play, Uranus is very involved with this money moon because it's close enough to the sun and the moon. It's already past its main configuration with the sun, so we've already had that little rumbling of jolting, that little lightning bolt of awareness. But now it's still it's like the moon is coming. It's like, yeah, the moon's like, yeah, I want to get in on this. I really want to get in on this. What other adjustments do we want to make? Do we need to knock somebody's footing out? Nah, we just need to make them become more aware. What could knock your footing out, and not really, it's more from a thought-provoking perspective, is the squaring off that Mercury has with Pluto. It is exact on the same moment that the full moon hits exact. So that's not a big deal, but it's kind of a, it's kind of a think about the planets and think about how far away they are. And it's kind of magnificent when these come together like this. And so Mercury is saying, what haven't you really said yes to about the newness, because about the newness of your wholeness, or about even about like an ugly piece of you that you're like, ugh, I kind of hate that about myself. It's not something you joke about. It's not something you share with somebody else. It's legit like, you know what? If I could deny this for the rest of my life, that would be awesome sauce. But crap, I can't. And now here's another moment where you're given tremendous fortitude with the sun and the moon, and you're giving magnificent amount of fortitude with Mars and how Mars is dealing with some of the other planets, particularly Venus. And it's like, okay. And then you have the supportive makeup. It's not the full triangle, the magic triangle, not quite, but you have some components together again to give you discipline and to give you the deep yearning to retrieve parts of you that are either hidden or denied or want to be let go of or want to become aware of for acceptance. And so everybody thinks like, oh crap, I'm going to find out I'm a terrible person. Let's not be so fucking dramatic, right? Like, let's just take a chill pill. This could be something as simple as, you know what? I really have a bad habit of not taking a walk every day. So you know what? I probably want to do that because that's probably a really good idea. I mean, it can be something that casual. So let's not all think that we're all gonna have to like retrieve our left arm, or like, oh my God, my great 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 grandmother did this, and now it's my DNA, and now I have to go get tremendous healing. No, we're not going there. It's Mercury. Mercury's like, hey guys, do you remember who I am? I'm going to give you a really good awareness and a really good thought pattern, and all I'm going to do is switch it up for you. I'm kind of the flicker. I'm the teaser. I'm the trickster. I'm gonna make you become aware of something that you're like. That's what I do with my trainer all the time when he gives me like the dreaded like split stance stuff. Like, God, I mean, I hate it. I give him that little temper tantrum, stamp my foot, and I'm like, oh, come on. This is that. We can have some fun with this. So let's let it be fun. Let's let ourselves be entertained. Let's be surprised and delighted. Let's just choose to say, okay, you know what? I have this bad habit, or you know what? This isn't really serving me, or gee, I really want to be doing XYZ. Then we're just going to go do it, or we're going to shed it, or we're going to shift it. It's that easy. Okay. After that little diatribe that Mercury, thank you, my friend, made me go through, let's go through the currencies. Let's go through how to build reserves. So you know it, guys. I'm going to say it. If you haven't taken that 12-question quiz, I'm going to go into customer service mode. If you haven't taken that 12-question quiz, go to your starmaptosuccess.com, answer those 12 questions, and you will get the signature for how you enter the world. Ta-da! Okay, and then for those of you who have been hanging out with me, you already know your signature. Okay, why strategist? Your currency is answers. You love knowledge. You adore being the go-to person for advice, for guidance, and then, of course, those answers. You love to be productive. You love to be task-oriented. We know all that about you. Your currency is answers. And that's not a bad thing. That's really great. You will do the research. You will talk to the people. You will find out. That is wonderful. You can build reserves by being you. When we look at the pace of the back half of the year, it's the pace itself that you're going to want to deal with. So when I picture you in my mind's eye, and I can picture many wise strategists in front of me, I picture you as being more, firm of stance, less immobile. And so you want to learn to ride the wave. You can still have your terra firma. You have that surfboard, if I want to continue the analogy. So recognize that it's sturdy. It's not gonna flip over. There isn't a big, huge wave coming. It's just that the sea state has become really flexible, really moving, and really fast. So your answer is to be able to have that sure footing, even though you're standing on a surfboard that's going through waves. Now, for you, intuitive visionary, of which I am one, your currency is ideas. That's the one word. However, it's originality. It's being future oriented. You like to be somewhat prophetic. You like to know things before other people do. But it's not in the knowing, it's in the idea of it. It's in the potential and it's in the unknown of it. You like to explore things either through people or through ideas or through problems and challenges. And you love to just open up, like crack it wide open and say, holy crap, there's a whole new world here. There's a whole different way of looking at it. And no one knows what the freak you're talking about because no one can see it the way you do. And if you don't take the time, or the energy or the commitment to ensuring that there is that lockstep with the world, then you can spin off into space. I mean, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, if you choose to be so incredibly future oriented or, original idea oriented, and you don't really want to lead your life in that way, you can go have a blast with your ideas. However, if you are, and if you're hanging out with me, you are wanting to transform the world. So if you are of that ilk, then the one stitch forward, two stitches back. That I did this, I think, all through like 2021 or 2022. I kept saying it ad nauseum. I drove everybody crazy with this, but it's so important. So take your big leap of an idea, like, oh my God, have a blast with it, and then sit there and think about it and be like, huh. Who's ready for this? Who cares about this? Who can I talk to about this? And how can I fit this in? And does it fit in, or is it, I just wanted to land the idea and I want to let it go? Hello, intuitive visionaries. That one stitch forward, two stitches back. Collaborative explorer, you know this already. Your currency is connection. However, as we expand it, yes, it is people, but it's people because they do fascinate you. Like, remember that explorer part of yourself, right? Like, we often tend to lean into the collaborative part just because last year's theme was collaboration. This year's theme is connection. It's just so natural to do. But you are an adventurer. You like new things. And think about it. What a testament to you to be able to walk into rooms and everybody's crazy, right? Like, you walk in a room, you have no idea what somebody's going to say. You have no idea what's going to happen. And you gleefully walk into it and you have a million conversations with people. Pat yourself on the back. That's amazing. And that is your currency. And that is beautiful. And it's because of all that sparking of things and different people's advice and different conversations and how you're led on different paths. And you're open enough to say, I wonder if that's a good thing or not. And you're bold enough to pursue it. This is why I always say to you, make sure you have your own agenda. Because pursuing something just for pursuing sake, honestly, for you, it's not like the intuitive visionary. You don't get any energy of it. It's really kind of terrible when you do that. So you definitely want to make sure that you're tucked in, right? Tucked into a team and you know your role. You're tucked into a responsibility or an authority matrix that you understand. And when you walk into that room, you're like, yeah, this is exactly my room. These are my peeps and I'm going to have a blast and I'm going to take one or two things away. Or I walk into the room and, I'm kind of the leader, but I haven't really been given that role as a leader. So I want to take my time, set some negotiating, some teamwork, some compromise. It's very natural for me, but I don't know what I'm going to walk out of the room with. That's okay too, because you've set your role and you set your expectations of it. Walking in a room, you're like, I don't know anybody. I don't really know my role. I have to find my footing as I'm talking to people. That's what's really hard for you. That's going to happen more and more and more because people are making connections much quicker and they want to be able to keep up with this pace. So, more is better here in America, right? So not really, but that's the thought process. So be mindful. Don't be overcome by that chaotic and sometimes sharp reactions of people. Just don't. Just galvanize yourself before you go into any sort of situations with others by knowing your role, by even energetically forming a moat around you, or by having such a sharp, and I'm going to use that word on purpose, edgy agenda that, you know what, you throw in an elbow or two because it's good for you to do that. Okay, ruling warrior. we know that your currency is wins, but it's actually much more than that. It's that pursuit of the challenge. It's that opportunity. It's like the red robe, if you will, for the bull that's going to go charge, right? And so it's manna from heaven for you. And oh boy, have we had more than enough to pursue. But when you get to that pursuing for pursuing's sake, or you kind of scaffolding pursuit, that's good for a ton. You want to kind of chunk or stack that, and then you want to come up with the pursuit of you, or the pursuit of satisfaction, or the pursuit of fun, or the pursuit of pleasure, or the pursuit of joy. Because when I go through your currency, it's goals, success, wins, striving, pursuit, challenge, which I've already said, bold, extreme excitement, adventure, and even joy. Because there's an excitement thrill that comes from doing something you've never done before, or testing yourself to do something more than you've ever done, or improving yourself. That's part of joy. So when I look at joy and I say, let's just open that a little bit more for you, ruling warrior, and think about the longer game. Think about the sustainability. Think about that everlasting. We could even use the word scalability, right? Scalability gives you a little bit more terra firma, and that's what we're talking about here. But you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's really serving of you. So play the long game for that. Avoid that transactional nature of the win, and then kind of look back and say, yeah, but what did I really win? Did I just win more work with people I don't really like and aren't really my people, and clients who are going to be kind of terrible? Or did I actually win what I wanted? That builds your reserves. Creative superstar. Your currency is artistry, heartfelt creations, dreams, imagination. If I had to choose one word, I would say imagination. You love to imagine. There's something so freeing about it. There's something so intoxicating about not having a single clue what's going to happen as you stir your own heart and your passion and your skills and your talents in. And then you come away and you're like, you're kind of breathless. And when other people look at your creations, they're kind of breathless too. And that's beautiful for you. And you gain energy from that. But the other part of you also gains energy from attention, from adoration, from appreciation, from devotion. And so we want to make sure that you appreciate yourself and you're devoted to yourself, but you're also devoted to your part in the world. So again, that's that cyclic nature. That's like the 1 foot in, the 1 foot out, the introverted, extroverted, the loving of people, the kind of need, no, I'm not going to say hating of people, but like the loving of people and the deep desire and need for solitude. You are an enigma. And so be that. Be uniquely controversial in your own self. Be contradictory. And that makes you original, and you adore that too. So for you, what we want to do is we want to extend some things. So where the intuitive visionary needs to do like 1 stitch back, 2 stitches, 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 2 stitches, that kind of thing, like needs to make sure that stitching's happening. You don't need to go back. But you do need to make sure that you are stitching things together for the future. And so for you, when I look at your creations, I always think packages. I always think subscription. I always think a revisitation of like maintenance or some sort of opening for you to create stability for yourself without having to keep having new relationships formed or new transactions happening. So think of loyalty programs, think of memberships, think of repeated interaction, because that would just give you so much reserves. You'd build so many reserves, and you can do it cyclically. Like, to say to you have to do it for 12 months and that's terrible. 3 parts, 5 parts, 1 part big, that's an intensive, and then 2 parts that aren't, or 1 big project and then having maintenance after. All those things are good for you. Okay, for you, loving alchemist, value, love, deep bonding. That's your currency. You love the depths. You love the mysteries. You love the power that comes through the desirous, deep. I'm going to use the same words. I'm trying to use different words, and I really don't have any. It's just that deep bonding, that sense of belonging, that transformative nature of intimacy, that absolutely intoxicating enchantment and magnetism between your souls. That's what it is. And so that's not exactly very light or lighthearted or quick or 1, 2, 3 simplicity that's nothing about that. So for you, allow yourself with this new pace and all the things, allow yourself to create those moments for you and those few others that you let yourselves take a breath. You create some sacred space. You create the sanctuary. And this is why I've been telling you to build your own stage for God over a year now, because that's where you can take your moment and you can say, hey guys, guess what? We're all going to go over here. I've created a space for us. And guess what? It's awesome. And you already know it. And we're just going to sink into it. And it's going to be luscious. And we're all going to be restored and refreshed when we come back out. So you can do that alone, of course, but doing it with a handful of others, when helping them and teaching them and showing them how incredibly important this is, manna from heaven for you. Okay, I know it started with the money moon. Those are all the building of reserves for signatures. And so we're going to go into ritual now. We're going to tuck in and tug through that trust card from the top of the month, that 11 of trust, the nightingale that sings her own unique song and finds her voice and her melody without apologizing to anybody else and without needing audience at all. She just does it for herself. And petrified wood, which has been that gorgeous fossilized wood that has been in the earth for so long that it becomes a crystal. So imagine the reserve of that. So as we bring those energies in and we remember the sun in Taurus shining on our faces as we close our eyes, except for if we're driving, and we allow the radiance of the sun to warm us. We can picture the smile. Up here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's May and all the flowers are blooming. In the Southern Hemisphere, the days are starting to shorten, but there is a blooming within that happens. And we have such satisfaction with that, such safety with that. There's stability with Taurus that we adore. And then that moon, that beautiful, mysterious moon in Scorpio, she's so lush. She's enchanting, alluring. She's like a siren in the sky. We can't help but feel her pull and answer to it. Then there's Mercury. Man, he's such a twit. Even in Taurus. And he's flicking the crap out of Pluto right now, stirring her up to make sure that we accept our wholeness. We find parts of our soul that we were missing, but it's in the Taurian way and it's in the Aquarian way. So there's a lightness to it. There's an ease to it. There's a absolutely yes, an easy yes. And then we bring in that fortitude from Mars, the dreaminess of Neptune, the absolute discipline of Saturn to make this real. And that last breath of Pisces that Saturn happens to be in right now. And we let the dreaminess of the water from the moon and from Neptune come into play, splashing around, restoring us. We let the fire from Leo, Mars, an Aries Venus, an Aries Neptune come into play. And we let the air of Pluto uplift us. And with this cosmic energy, we ask ourselves, how can we say yes to trusting ourselves? How can we build those reserves just like petrified wood? Not to become fossilized for hardness and rigidity, but to become fossilized for treasure and for energy. And how can we sing our song, finding our own melody, finding our voice just for us, without seeking anything from other? Just gazing at the moon and all of her mysteries and feeling her intoxicating beauty and her absolute goddess stance of being all that and more. and saying, here I am. And with each one of our signatures, how can we cloak us and wrap ourselves around with our true currency? That's our strength. It's a superpower. How do we allow ourselves to lean into it, to leverage it, to help us build our own strengths, to invest in ourselves so that others come and invest in us too? And then through that Plutonian awareness, how do we shed or say yes to those parts of us where we're like, kind of weak, not so awesome? Because you are glory incarnate. You are the God and Goddess himself and herself. You are equal to all the cosmos and the earth herself. For we walk together. And let's trust in that. Let's trust in the sun always coming up in the morning, the moon dancing around the earth so she reflects the sun's light. So she goes about her cycles, and she happens to be full and fecund and pregnant with possibility right now. Let's trust that as we awaken each day, we are us, fully us. We have a brand new day in front of us. And we say yes to living it fully. And whatever that means for us in this moment. And let's sip from this money moon and realize that we are the abundance. We are the treasure. Our gifts, our talents are desperately needed and craved among many. And let us find the wealth in that. Let us open and clear our minds, open our hearts, activate our will. Let's step into the awareness of all that we have ever been and all that we ever will be, with a great big yes and a smile with a sigh. And as we send a wish off into this bright full moon, into our futures, let it wrap around us to become part of our present. Let it be supportive to us. And let us lean into it. Taking with us that petrified wood, the nightingale's song, and that beautiful trust. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Another inhale and exhale. Take a drink of water. Rub your hands together, your feet, roll your shoulders and your neck. Happy, happy, happy full moon. Until next time, happy soul tidings.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes, and remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together, as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.